What's going on, y'all? Hey, I just wanted to kind of talk about this video I watched a little bit of it, and I thought it was from Streamer U, and I thought there was great information in here. I wanted to pass it on to y'all, so it's something we could take a look at.
Let's go over this real quick. You're 6,055 on Twitch Tracker.
What does that mean?
It just means of all the streamers on Twitch, you are the 6,055th largest.
Shit.
So this is from Streamer U, and this is Ludwig. He's talking to another content creator, trying to get them to think about what they can do on scaling and thinking about how that looks on Twitch and YouTube. And one thing I really found different, some of y'all may know or may not know, with Twitch you can play music, but with YouTube you cannot. But YouTube takes an extensive amount of thinking and doing things versus Twitch. You kind of pre-plan it, and this is what he talked kind of earlier about in the video, and that kind of gives you better reach with it. And so it's just how the two different social medias, you can use those to your advantage.
And this is mainly by average viewer watch time and like certain like followers per hour metrics. Like, are you growing basically as a creator? So, I mean, candidly, if I'm looking, like, you're doing amazing. Did you have another platform before streaming on Twitch?
Yes.
What was that?
Instagram. What I do, I like to put everything everywhere.
I see.
Yeah, I just don't do one thing. I do it everywhere.
You're on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
And that's
And this is Ludwig. He's like number 10 in on, I think he's number, no, he's not number 10. He's number 95, I believe. He said on Twitch, and he's somewhere high within YouTube too, where he's done a lot of good things as far as figuring out systems and how to make things easier. And one thing that I really pulled from this video is thinking about putting things on a sliding scale as far as how you want things to look. Excuse me, what you kind of talked to about another content creator earlier, and I'm gonna put the clip in the description, but getting you to think about how do you want your life to look like? Are you gonna be a streamer? Are you going to be IRL? Are you going to be desktop? Are you going to try to do both? And thinking about the systems you need to build up to do it. And I think my thing I'm really thinking of and I'm really coming to is like content business. Thinking about how that's going to look and what you can do to kind of put and establish things behind it so that you could, incrementally make more money doing different things. But at the same time, cutting down on time and doing other things you want to do in life. I just think it's such a brilliant idea that they have going on.
Live YouTube, gaming. I have different YouTube and I just post stuff.
So you've been streaming like not even a year, huh?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like, bro, I streamed like, man, I probably streamed like a year before reaching the viewership that you started with. You know what I'm saying? You're doing amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want it better though.
Yeah.
I want to
And you absolutely can. There's one thing I'd let you know about. Do you know about the hedonic treadmill?
the Hadana treadmill.
Yeah.
No.
So it's the idea that as humans, we adjust to the environment we are in.
Okay.
So you're at what? How many viewers do you have right now? You live right now?
Yeah, but it's really bad at lagging.
Sure, it's laggy, so it's not doing well. But whatever, you're at hundreds of viewers right now.
Yes,
500 viewers,
like
let's say.
700.
Right? And maybe you're thinking like, damn, if I'm hitting 2,000, I'd be happy.
Like if my Wi-Fi was good right now, I'd probably be averaging like 5K.
Okay, yeah, 5K. All right, and like maybe after streaming, you want to be streaming 5K, right?
Yes.
What's gonna happen? Maybe you do achieve that. You're gonna get used to that.
Right.
And now, when you dip below 5K, you're gonna feel sad.
Right.
And here's where he begins to talk about putting things basically on a sliding scale. Thinking about how you feel, thinking about where you want things to be at. And I actually saw another clip, which I'm going to kind of do another video of with Jordan Peterson. Thinking about if you have more, then you always going to want more. You want to achieve more, which is great in a sense, but when is enough is enough. And that's what I think a lot of people are trying to really figure out. And as far as not going through the painstaking time of losing so much, trying to gain something that it doesn't even bring you value at the end of the day, the end of your life or whatnot, where you at with your relationships and things like that. So in essence, it's saying being content with a little, but also being content with a lot too.
And you're going to be like, okay, 10K, I'll be happy.
Right.
It's really easy to get into this trap of always setting yourself a number that you're going to be happy achieving, right? And then when you hit that number, you're not going to be happy.
So don't be attached.
See, and this is where I'm talking about, and this is where for me it kind of rolls into that elusive eternal victory. They kind of talked about on Coach Carter, which I love that movie. I might do video on that movie too, but the eternal victory, like trying to win by the spirit of the game, having true sportsmanship, the true essence of sportsmanship is the fact that you learn and you go and like you might step out of bounds, but instead of the ref might not catch you, but you step out of bounds, you be like, nah, I stepped out of bounds because it's not about the opponent that you're playing. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, and then also taking consideration. And I think this is true: consideration of the people who you are responsible for and whose lives you're trying to change and make better. And that is that elusive eternal victory. You know, where you may lose, but at the same time you still win. You may lose, but at the same time you still win. You know what I'm saying? And you may not become a millionaire, billionaire, but you became 100,000-aire. You know what I mean? A six-figure individual, like, and that's one of those things. Even a high five-figure individual. And how are you living your life? How is your family? At the end of your life, do you have people who love you and care about you at the end of the day? You know what I mean? And it's kind of as young people may struggle with that, but as older individuals, you at least got to start to come to a place where you begin to see and understand as time goes by and things change, people come and go or whatnot. And that's kind of the essence that he's talking about. And he's only 31 in here, but kind of talking about like how can you see, go further, understand, and do, and make your life that much more rich, not in per se wealth, but in, I don't know, love, relationships, caring, and whatnot, quality time, etc. So that's one thing I think he's really talking about.
Don't be attached to specifically the viewership. Be attached to the creative output. Be attached to the community you've built.
And I think this is highly important, and this is where I think a lot of people going on that journey where they get lost, being focused on the creative output. So the creative output or input, which is kind of the same thing. Creative output is the output that the creator puts out into the world. So it's the input that they put into the algorithm or the computer system or whatever. They're just creating their best work. You know what I'm saying? Like Picasso, his best work wasn't appreciated till he's gone or never or whatever. But that doesn't mean it has to be the same case with you. I don't know if that was a good example. Well, not, but it's still in essence the same premise of doing the very best you can, walking in your gift and your talent, and reaching at that ultimate level of who you are, becoming the greatest version. Like okay, a great example is like a coin. Like a penny can only be 1 cent. It really can't go over 1 cent. A nickel can be full 5 cents. You don't want a nickel that's only at 4 cents, 3 cents, 2 cents. It's all cleaned up, whatever. You want it to reach its full potential. A 50-cent coin to reach its full potential as far as being worth being a full 50, and a quarter being its full 25 cents. Like letting it be whatever it is to its max, however high or low it may be.
Be attached to the money you've earned and what you can do with that, right? Like maybe this cap.
Yeah, and he said community, and he also said, you know, the community, that's relationships, and then he also said, you know, not the money that you earn per se, but what you could do with the wealth of what you have and you being a good steward.
Capital Unlock lets you help out family, it lets you achieve some dreams you've had. Like, that's something that's cool, but like, you're gonna fall off. Kai Cenat's gonna fall off.
Eventually, it does happen.
Aisha Speed's it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
See, and know what? I'm a little bit funny, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Now follow me. And I'm not saying, so it depends on how you say fall off. Now, if you're talking about specific only as a content creator or whatnot, I mean, I could see how you could say that or whatever. But when I see it in, so I challenge to say, like, why is it not in all mediums? So it would not be social media, would it not be music, television, TV, radio, etc.? Because if it's that, won't it go into books? So there's people who wrote books and wrote theories and things like that that are existential. That they continue to exist and they will exist all the way throughout time. Because like early in the video, he talked about, can you name someone who's relevant in 1882? Now I believe that's true. I understand and agree with his point. He was trying to say that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But if you are doing world-changing, life-changing things like Albert Einstein, Plato, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius. I'm trying to think of other people. Nelson Mandela. You can name people who are having a profound effect on a group of people. But then the question is, how relevant will they be 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years? Like, a lot of those people will start to fall to the wayside eventually, but names such as Einstein, and I would even dare to say Marcus Aurelius, would kind of be hard. Like they'll go from being a paragraph to being just a sentence. But if you are foundational in the theories of where we're going, like think about how we're going into space now. Space travel might be something that we're doing. Like I think those names could last longer. I'm sorry if I stayed on this point too long. All right, let me move on.
Necessarily will happen. There's no universe IShowSpeed is going to be as big of a creator as he is in 50 years. And probably much before that. Not any fault of his, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Alright? So, while you're on the ride, enjoy it.
Right.
And I'll say this about that. There was a show, Brad Pitt, called Moneyball. And there was two scenes with his daughter in the show, in the movie. And he talks about, she sang a song, she was very sad, her parents were going through a divorce or whatnot. But then later on the show, her father found success in getting the Oakland A's to be successful. He came with a new system theory, just came up with different things. Some of it was intuition, some of it was actually practical or whatever, just thinking about it and how he did that. It was profound on the success of the team. But the whole premise is that she sang a song. She said, to sit back and enjoy the show. And then she said, "You're a loser, Dad. You're a loser, Dad. You're such a loser, Dad. Sit back and enjoy the show." And that again is being wealthy in family, in love, in relationships, being rich in that. And because he had lost, but he had gained that eternal victory. And I think that's what we need, on helping the people to understand, get, and gain, to not just have a victory or a trophy, but have that eternal victory. Maybe that was the goal intentionally, but now that should be the goal that we do, and make sure that we accomplish that with people. Just a thought. Neither here nor there. Let me carry on.
All right, and you can shoot for the moon. I'm not saying don't be ambitious. Be ambitious. Be as big as you can be. But don't be.
And I will hark on that again. Be the full 100% version of you, whoever you are. Be that full 10. If you a 10, be a 10. If you a 1, be a 1. You're a full 1. You're not a 0.09, a 0.08, a 0.76. No, you a 1 all the way to 1. You know what I mean? So
beat yourself up because you're stuck in this hedonic treadmill, and damn, now I need to hit this viewership to be happy, this viewership to be happy, this viewership to be happy.
And this is what I'm saying, that sliding scale. It's almost like an X. And how it goes is that as you move up in this area, focusing on money and finances, you begin to lose value in the relationships or other areas because you're spending an exponential amount of time trying to grow in trying to go in money and things like that. So it's not the fact that you're chasing the money, but the fact is that you lose value on the time and amount of energy that could be spent in other areas to do that. So instead of spending time on making money, you have to balance it out with spending time with your family, spending time with your son, daughter, whomever. You know what I mean? You have to then begin to find a way to strike a balance. And I think and I've heard it said, and I don't know for sure as of yet, but as I'm continuing on, that sometimes people, that's why they don't want to try to be a billionaire, because the amount that they will gain is how much will that actually improve your life on what you can do, buy, and things like that. Like, of course, you want to have enough money where you can do different things, and I'm talking very high level right now, but if you could actually imagine, like, it doesn't really change. Like, okay, so now you could buy $100,000 yacht. Now you could own the jet. Then you got to worry about costs and stuff like that. But you may find something like, so I hope I'm saying this articulate enough. But as you're going and you're gaining more things that way, what else is being lost? Like, okay, you're not able to spend time with the kids. You have to have a nanny or things like that. I'm not saying people with nannies can't have a great relationship with their kids, but something is gained and lost in that exchange that I'm seeing and understanding from the particular point that I'm at right now, which I understand is because we as humans only have X amount of time. We only have 24 hours in a day. We have to sleep 8 hours a day. If we don't, that's our rest and recovery time. And some people can sleep 6 hours, but then that begins to have an impact on your life and your time and things that you can do. So that's what I'm saying as far as thinking about that in the change.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. That makes sense.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Dope. He did a real good job. The last two things I'm gonna say about this is there was another song, it was a country song, and it said, it was an older song. He said, "This ain't nothing." He talked about where he lost his hand in the war. He talked about where he lost his brother. He talked about when he lost his wife. And now that he lost his house, he was saying, "This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing." Where he's saying that stuff like that. And then also what it brings to recollection to my mind is there's a movie, The Kingdom of Heaven, where he was fighting to protect the castle at the end of the movie and everything. And in there, when he did that, the queen, because they had lost, but they had reached a point where they could negotiate terms, and in him being able to negotiate terms, they were able to create their release in peace. And she said, "Well, if I'm not the queen of such and such, what am I?" And then he said, "You'll be my queen. You'll be with me." And you would hope that would be enough for a person. But that's where he's talking about the hypnotic treadmill, like, and going back to being content with a lot and a little, and being able to understand about that sliding scale. All right, y'all. Sorry if I talked your ears off. I thought this was a brilliant job. He did a great job on this point. I wanted to expound on some things that I saw and viewed, and just I hope it was helpful. All right, I wish y'all well.